No. Hmm. Can you hear the birdies? I'm sitting outside today. I just listened to a DNA activation video. My eyes are a little wet. I was tearing up a little bit, connecting with my inner child and the disappointment and discouragement that she felt about life. And I've been listening to some videos about pre-birth planning. And people talking about what it feels like to come into the earth and to experience the contrast here, being in such a low density vibration compared to what they feel when they're not here, when they're in the spirit world or the higher dimensions and the expansiveness and love of that, and then what it feels like in the moment that they leave that and come into such a low density vibration. And even though I don't remember doing that, what I do remember is being a child in this environment and not experiencing much happiness or fun in my life. Feeling discouraged a lot. Wanting life to be good, wanting to be happy, and not knowing how or where to find that. And I was thinking about how I just spent my whole life, a large part of it, in such a low vibration, they call it. Basically, a depression that was always there. Some people have memories of being happy as a child, being carefree or joyful, but I don't really have that. My memories are of being in the womb and feeling as if it was an unsafe place. Being a young child and feeling like the world was a dangerous place. And not really feeling that childhood, carefree, happy feeling that some people report. And so I was just thinking about that it wasn't until I was living in Hawaii in 2011 that I actually began to experience a more light-hearted, carefree feeling. And it was something that I did almost just willfully, like I just willed myself to act cheerful. And as I did that, as I began to talk to myself, to to say things or to express things of joy and happiness, and to say, it's a beautiful day and I'm so happy today, to just say things like that. I was able to actually manifest the feelings that went along with that. And that was 2011. And I was born in 1956. So how old was I? 56, 2006, 55. 55 years of being depressed. Wow. And as I healed some of the darkness and density of my life when I was a child, I was able to look back on certain things and realize that there had been some good things in my life, that there had been some times that were happy, but I had just never been able to remember them that way because there had been this overlay on my memory, on my, on my being of dimness, of darkness, of unhappiness that colored everything that I remembered. And the same was true of when I was a young mother and I had young children. I know that there were times that I enjoyed, that we had fun together. I remember there being times of joy. And as a Christian, there were times that I experienced joy, that I connected with wonderful feelings and ideas and prayers that felt nice. But it was just that even with those things, there seemed to be something in me that just sort of filtered it all through this baseline of unhappiness. I guess that's a good way to put it. So once I did discover a way to get in touch more with happy feelings and to feel that life was fun and to begin to have a sense that the world was a good place and could be a happy place for me. And I experienced that in Hawaii. It was like the world I was living in there was a paradise in many ways to me, was beautiful. I was experiencing a sense of independence and adventure in myself. And I began to see reflections around me and to sometimes feel as if I was living in heaven, as if I was surrounded by angels and my friends were angels and everyone I came across and came into contact there was a beautiful soul, and I was sharing very magical things with a lot of the people there. And that was when I was then able to look back on other parts of my life without having the pain there. Because there was a time when I had looked back on memories of when my children were small, and all I could get in touch with was the pain I was feeling at that time. But when I was in Hawaii and I got in touch with these lighter feelings, I was able to better appreciate the young mother that I had been and the experiences that I had with my children and how beautiful and wonderful they were and how grateful I was to have given birth to them and to, just have more gratitude for my life and to see it in a better light. Because for a while, it had just all been covered by a very dark veil, and I couldn't see all of that. So something in me, something in my spirit shifted, and eventually I was able to feel that lightness. And ever since then, I have felt that way in my life. It's like I have now a baseline of joy, of peace, of happiness. And so when I moved back to New Mexico after living in Hawaii, and my mother passed and I was living in her house, I was spending a lot of time with my inner child, and it was like I was giving her the life that she had never had. I was giving her the opportunity to play and to do what she wanted and to feel however she felt and to be there for her and to comfort her and to let her know that it was okay if she felt angry, even about the smallest things. It was like she didn't have to be angry because she had been mistreated when she was little. She could just be angry in the moment about whatever was coming across her path in her everyday life that displeased her, which is, completely natural and normal for a child. So she was getting to have a quote-unquote normal childhood. She was getting to have a childhood, the one she had never had before. And so that was when I built my doll village, and I had a whole collection. I had over 50 porcelain dolls, that most of which I bought at the Goodwill store for a pittance, and I made costumes for them, and I dressed them, and I played with them, and I built this village for them, and then I made videos about it and posted them on YouTube, and I had so much fun. And when I first moved there, my granddaughters were living there, and that's where they live now. And they were, that was 2016. So that was about 10 years ago. So they were 4 and 8. They would have been 4 and 8 or 5 and 9, something like that. And they would come over and we would play together. And especially the younger one liked to play with my dolls in my village, and we shared that with each other, and we were good friends. And it was so much fun for my inner child to have a friend like that, and to just, it was like, sorry, there's probably some kind of noisy things going on here. I hope the volume is okay on this video. Where was I? Playing with my granddaughter. Oh, and then just like taking care of myself, cooking food and then feeding it to myself, getting to be both the servant and the served, and enjoying both sides of it, because by that point I was good at taking care of other people, and now I was just doing it for myself. I was being the recipient of my own skills and talents, and it was a wonderful time for my inner child to get to experience that. And so again, I had that baseline of happiness and cheerfulness. And sometimes I would wake up in the morning and my inner child would have sort of old patterns of being unhappy or disgruntled. And I would say, "Good morning, it's a beautiful day." And I would talk to her as I would any child who was maybe not feeling in such a good mood, but I could be the one who was in a good mood and could welcome her to the day and welcome her to life and say, "Let's have some fun today. Let's play. What are we going to do today?" And she was the one, actually, who liked to dress me. It was so funny. Getting dressed, I had to be ready to do it. I couldn't just get dressed and just put anything on. My inner child had very specific ideas about what she wanted to wear, and she would tell me. And it was great because I would sort of be in this indecision of, oh, I don't know what I want to wear today. And she would say, I would go through the closet and I would be like, saying, this shirt, no, this shirt, no, this shirt, no, this shirt, no, this shirt, yes, that's the one I want. And there would be an energy to that. There would be a joy to that of wearing that particular thing on that day would give me great joy. And if I wore anything else, it didn't give me great joy. And sometimes I might put something on and she'd say, nope, nope, this isn't making me happy. And so we take it off and put something else on. And it usually wasn't that difficult to find the one thing, the one outfit that would bring her joy that day, and that I would put that on. And I also had a thing about colors, where I would just get connected to certain colors, and certain colors would just bring me joy in my life, and other colors would not. And I think I mentioned about how I painted my mother's curtains that were turquoise. I painted them red with fabric paint, and there were these big old curtains, and I spent hours and hours. I didn't even take them off the walls, and I just painted them as they were hanging up over all these windows in her living room. And I had so much fun doing that. And my inner child knew that that was something that my mother would have been horrified by, if she had done that when she was a little girl living with my mother and growing up with her. So that sort of brought joy as well, to know that she was getting to do something she wanted to do that she never would have been allowed to do when we were truly little and being raised by my mother. And also, like, for some reason, that turquoise color, I just disliked it. We just did not like that turquoise color, so we were determined to get it out of the house. And so we painted it with this bright red fabric paint, but that mixed with the turquoise ended up creating this beautiful burgundy color, and it was gorgeous, and we loved it. So it was giving my inner child a chance to really reframe her childhood, getting a second chance at childhood, and getting to do that in my mother's house, sort of her getting the opportunity to say, okay, mom's not here and I get to do what I want to do. And it was wonderfully liberating for her. And that was beautiful. So yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to share today. I didn't know until I started talking, until I turned on the video, and then found what wanted to come out today and what I wanted to share. So thank you for listening, and much love.